It's back on the road tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals. He was selected in the second round by the Phillies in 1993. By 97, he was the Rookie of the Year, and he won 3 Gold Gloves in the city of brotherly love. For Larry Boa, they've got a great offense here in Philadelphia, anchored by Jim Thome, a doubles machine in Bobby Abreu. And when the game is on the line, Billy Wagner can shut the door. Game 1 is coming up. A 6-game road trip begins tonight in Philadelphia. Citizens Bank Park, the brand new ballpark here in Philadelphia. You know those fans are going to have some fun. That bullpen out there is above the Phillies bullpen and right next to the fans. What a perfect place to do it here in the city of brotherly love. With Al Hrabowski, my name is Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. Your first impression of this ballpark, what do you think?
Well, I really like it. It's a welcome addition. This is the 3rd ballpark I've seen in Philadelphia. Played in Connie Mack, played in the Vet, and now this one here. The ball really jumps. There's going to be a lot of home runs, and of course there's some premier hitters in this series for both ball clubs.
The fans in Philly, they live for nights like this. You know, they did it with J.D. Drew, and he came back. Scott Rowland has come back before, but he does it again tonight. He is part of our Higher Standards, brought to you by Bank of America. Scott Rowland against the Philadelphia Phillies has hit 400 in his career since that trade. He's won a couple of Gold Gloves with the Cardinals, but I think he gets excited about this just like the fans do.
Well, I'm not too sure he'll accept that, but because he told me the best thing about this trip is on Thursday afternoon when he's leaving Philadelphia. But you know, he has a lot of friends here. He knows he's probably going to hear a lot of boos, and that's a real compliment to a visiting player. When you hear that, it's a form of recognition. He's over that. He even thinks himself as a Cardinal now and no longer an ex-Philadelphia Philly.
You and I were talking about this before the game tonight. Maybe a chance to close down the Vet, move in this new ballpark, and he feels like he's part of the Cardinals. Chris Carpenter is part of the Cardinals. You know, he's starting to get back in the swing of things in the major leagues. That guy has been doing it for a long time against St. Louis. Jim Thome shut him down tonight. Cards and Phil. The Philly Fanatic here in Philadelphia. Welcome back. This is game 1 of a 3-game set. The brand new ballpark and the new home of the Phillies. The Cardinals fell back to the 500 mark yesterday. They're at 13-13. The 9th time this year they have been at that break-even mark. Brett Myers is our advanced auto parts starter for the Phillies.
Well, he's making his 2nd consecutive start against the Cardinals. He did have one point where he was taken out of the rotation and waited 12 days to pitch due to rain. But he was an amateur boxer, and that kind of sums up the way he is on the mound.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals lineup, and it's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Tony Womack will play second base and lead things off, followed by Langford in left and Albert Pujols here in the 1st. Jim Edmonds again batting cleanup. Then Scott Rowland, Edgar Renteria, Marlon Anderson, Mike Matheny behind the plate, and Chris Carpenter getting the start on the mound and batting 9th for St. Louis. The defense for the Phillies is brought to you by Auto Tire. There's a look at the former Indian and now in his 2nd year with the Phillies, Jim Thome. Pat Burrell in left. Marlon Byrd is in center. Bobby Abreu is in right. Bell and Rollins on the left side of the infield. Placido Polanco is the second baseman. Jim Thome at first. And Mike Lieberthal is behind the plate. So Brett Myers getting the start for the Phillies. He has a record of 0-1, and his ERA is a high 7.36. He struggled his last time out against the Cardinals. 4 innings, allowed 8 hits, but did take a no decision in that game for the Phillies.
Now the Phillies are 4-0 in Myers' 4 career starts against the Cardinals. And he's 1-0 here in 1 game, high ERA. So John La Russa, we'll talk about it today, how he's tried to get his batters to kind of make a game adjustments. They have been very good in getting a scouting report, but if the pitcher deviates from that scouting report, it's almost as if they don't trust their own eyes and able to make adjustments as the course of the game.
Here's Tony Womack to lead it off for the Cardinals. First pitch, a fastball in there for a strike from Myers. When he first came up, his fastball was consistently at 95, 96 with good movement and a very good curveball. But he has struggled the last year or so. A pop-up on the infield to the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, and that's how we start the ball game.
Well, really, Myers won 14 games last year. He's only 4 years of age, and Larry Boa has seen the later stages of last year, spring training, and now the start of this year, seen him really struggle. He does have the potential to turn it around.
There's Ray Langford, batting .288, the second spot in the order for the Cardinals and playing left field. One out, nobody on, and the next to Ray Langford is a ball upstairs.
Myers has a tendency to pitch up in the zone, and you better have a lot of mustard on those pitches to do that.
Good piece of hitting there by Langford and a base hit. First base runner in this game.
And one of the things that Tony has talked to his hitters about is utilizing the entire field. The ball running away, but you know, high sinkers, they kind of flatten out a little bit. You got to start that about where the ball ended up and then have it dive down. But the ball up there is very hittable.
Here's Albert Pujols. He homered for Greg Maddux yesterday. His home run number 8 and his first home run in 6 games. That was his longest stretch of homerless games this season. And he hits a rope down the left field line, and it's a one-hopper off the 329 sign. And Pujols is on his way to second base, and Langford stops at third. So second and third and one out. Boy, that was a rocket off the bat of Albert Pujols.
Well, Albert's been fighting it. He's really been out in front on a lot of off-speed deliveries. But yesterday, when he got that first hit, he got a base hit to right field. You could just tell that he's starting to get a little more locked in. After that, he hit the home run to left. He hit 3 balls to left. One of them was at the base of the wall. And there you see how he turns on the high pitch up and in. And no one better turning on that.
And again, you said he'll get in trouble. Red Myers will when he's up in the zone. Doesn't matter if he throws 94, 95, and that one again up in the zone, and Pujols turned on it. Now it's a chance for Edmonds. And a breaking ball, a good pitch, and a swing and a miss. The Cardinals, with runners in scoring position, this season now only hitting .231. And that's something that has got to change for this club.
And some of the biggest bats, Edmonds, a prime example, only 138 average, 4 for 29 with runners in scoring position. Like the National League book has been, you throw fastballs to the Cardinals and they're going to show you why they're one of the best hitting teams. But the off-speed pitches, a lot of change-ups, and off-speed pitches have been giving them fits.
Runners at second and third for St. Louis here in the first. Inside to Edmonds. The offensive struggles for the Cardinals. You see the first 15 games, they average at .308. The last 11, it's under .250. And it's under .150 with runners in scoring position.
Things go in cycles, and right now the Cardinals pitchers, starting pitching, is starting to do a very good job.
2-1 pitch. Edmonds lines out to Jim Thome.
Soft liner there on an off-speed pitch way out in front. Get ready, folks. It's Scott time. As a visiting player, this is what you live for. The standing boo. It's a compliment.
As we showed you in the graphic earlier, Scott Rowland hitting .400 against his former team. Cardinals need a 2-out hit, and time is called.
And no J.D. Drew to split the boos.
They were more vicious, I thought, with J.D. the first time he came back than that first time with Rowland.
Yeah, well, of course, because Scotty wore the Phillies uniform and represented himself very well. Gold Glove winner, All-Star, Rookie of the Year, and just didn't want to make a permanent home here. And he's very happy. He feels like a Cardinal now. It's a retro ballpark, right?
I guess so. You see the skyline of downtown Philadelphia.
Well, Danny, I think that at Connie Mack, the fans were pretty vicious there, but when they moved into the vet, it seemed like they got a little more polite. But now this is retro, so now they're getting back to being vicious.
You would love being out in that bullpen for the Cardinals.
I'll tell you about that bullpen in a second.
1-2.
You know, initially they were playing a couple exhibition games. The Phillies had the top bullpen, and the fans were so vicious to the Phillies relievers that they changed it on the second day. They said, "Nuh-uh, you go. We're going to send the visitors up there. We'll take the lower one. Less fans to deal with."
There has been some talk that if it did get bad out there, that they would have to permanently move the visiting bullpen. However they're going to do it,
who knows?
Do it? Exactly.
Outside?
But there's been talk that they might have to do that because of the way that fans have acted out there. And Rolen hits it down the left field line. He answers the boos with 2 RBIs with 2 outs, trying to stretch it into a double. He is out at second base, but 2-run score, and Scott Rolen returns to Philadelphia and puts the Cardinals on top early on. 2 more RBIs for the Cardinal third baseman. Cardinals in the first, including an RBI single, a pair of RBIs for Scott Rolen. They're upset when he gets the base hit and drives in a couple of runs, but as he's trying to stretch it into the double, their reaction, yeah, they got him. Boos and then cheers.
Love-hate relationship.
That's what it is.
So far, Scotty with that bullet down in the left field corner. And, of course, Burrow with a good throwing arm. Here's another good arm. Carpenter, his 5th start, 2nd consecutive against the Phillies. And the last time out, it was the best he's had this season. And he went 7 innings.
Marlon Byrd leads things off for the Philadelphia Phillies, and it's a strike. Chris Carpenter has shown at some innings he looks like the best pitcher in the league. At other times he struggles with control. In particular, he's got 10 walks on the season. But as the rust wears off, I'm sure we're going to see him get just better and better with each start. Here's the 0-2 pitch.
Well, Danny, what happens is, you know, remember he missed nearly 2 years. So just the formula trying to get back, you got to mentally pronounce yourself well, know that your arm's not going to fall off, and then make competitive pitches.
Hit to short, chance for Renteria, long throw and a scoop over there by Pujols. And that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the first. We take a look at the Phillies lineup. Marlon Byrd, you just saw him. That's the former Cardinal. Polanco, followed by Bobby Abreu. Jim Thome bats cleanup, then Pat Burrell, Mike Lieberthal, David Bell, Jimmy Rollins, and Brett Myers. The Southwest Airlines lineup for Philadelphia. And here's Polanco.
They're only batting .245 as a team and very dependent on home runs to score runs. And hard to believe that Polanco, 1 RBI.
But Tony Womack didn't even see it off the bat. Took a step in the wrong direction, and you could tell he didn't really pick it up off the bat at all. And it's a base hit up the middle. Look at the Cardinals defense is brought to you by Auto Tires. Scott Rolen, the third baseman, back in Philly. Langford, Edmonds, and Anderson in the outfield. Renteria at short, Womack at second, Pujols at first, and Mike Matheny is behind the plate. So 1 out hit for Polanco, and it brings in Bobby Abreu.
Carpenter really has to be careful with the left-handed batters. Right-handers come into this action batting only 146, but the lefties 368 in all 4 home runs allowed. Abreu is 5 for 12 when facing Carpenter.
Only hitting .241 on the season.
Hit in 9 of his last 11 games at a .340 clip.
Fastball misses, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes. The pitching for the Phillies has been very good. Despite their 11-12 record, the pitching staff has the best ERA in the National League.
Look at the bullpen.
Even better. Much of that success is due to Billy Wagner and what he has done with the Phillies.
The Cardinals have found that they are pitching exceptionally well on the road. See, no change in the ERA for Carpenter, but for the team, Cardinals have a 2.72 ERA and allowed just 5 home runs on the road.
Good pitch, 2-2.
And the Cardinals have the best road ERA in the majors. So Dave Duncan's got his guys going. The last, I think 13 starts have all been quality starts.
2-2 pitch from Carpenter. And it's a ground ball. Backhanded by Pujols. Couldn't get it. Womack is there. Back to the bag goes Albert. And there's 2 outs. Tough play for Pujols. Got a piece of it. And Womack was there to help him out. Now it's Thome stepping in.
I think Albert is going to make this play more times than not. It comes up on him a little bit, but look at the hustle by Womack to be right there and get the deflection and record an out at first base. Tries to backhand it, and it comes up, slowed it down, and allowed Womack to surround it and underhand flip.
Well, you've got first base open, even though it's the first inning. Don't give this guy much to hit the way that he has hit against the Cardinals in his career. It is scary, the kind of numbers that he has put up.
He's such a nice guy, just a great guy, but this year he's batting .500 in his career, .456 with 14 home runs and 33 RBIs.
Ball almost got away, and Renteria's got it. Count of no balls and a strike on Jim Thome. Look at those numbers, Al. It's incredible what he's been able to do. 31 for 68, like you said, with 33 RBIs against St. Louis.
And that's just 20 games. 33 RBIs in 20 games. He's with Cleveland. He had a career high 6 RBIs against St. Louis.
Well, with Cleveland, he opened up the Jake, and now with the Phillies, he opens up their new ballpark.
Told me he loves it here, and the ball really flies out of this ballpark. And of course, it'll get better as the weather. And you see the shift where Rolen, the only one on the left side of the infield.
Ooh, Thome went around. It's Jim Joyce, third base umpire.
Thome ranks 43rd on the all-time home run list with 388. Needs 1 to tie Johnny Bench, 2 more to tie Craig Nettles.
The 1-2 pitch up and away to Jim Thome. Pat Burrell is getting loose on deck.
Graham Polanco exchanging pleasantries, talking about it.
On 2-2, Thome loses the bat and almost catches his teammate with it.
Right over the, seemed like it went right over the head of Pat Burrell, the on-deck hitter. He can smile since it didn't hit him. But Thome loses it. And then you worry about.
Two and two the count. Thome went around and a strikeout for Carpenter. His first in the game, and Thome strands a runner. We played one, and the Cardinals lead it here in Philadelphia by the score of 2-0. About a family picnic at Power Alley at Busch Stadium. It includes a 2-hour all-you-can-eat buffet plus unlimited beer and soda. The number to call is 425-0600 today for Power Alley. Great dates are still available, but they're going awfully fast. 425-0600, and here's Renteria to start the second. Edgar has reached base in each of his last 7 games. Hitting .298 on the year. It's Renteria, Marlon Anderson, and Mike Matheny for the Cardinals. Sharp breaking ball misses low, and it's 2-0. Cardinals got their 2 runs on a 2-out base hit by Scott Rolen that brought in Ray Langford and Albert Pujols in the first. 2-1. Now let's see if we can pick up if Brett Myers is flying that shoulder open. That's one of the concerns that the Phillies have said mechanically with Myers that they've had a problem with. They've seen a little bit in decreased velocity, even though he still throws awfully hard. They talk about his front shoulder flying open. We'll see if we pick that up throughout the game tonight.
Another thing they're trying to do is to try and get him to control his leg kick. And that would have a little sink, you know, be in sync with the upper part and his lower part, keep him from flying open. Sometimes you bring that leg so far back that, you know, and to get back over, you feel like you have to go a little quicker with your top part, and you fly open with your front shoulder. That keeps the ball up and away.
Here is Marlon Anderson, the former Philly. He is playing right field tonight with Reggie Sanders on the bench. Good pitch.
Asked Tony about Reggie, and he just said just want to give him a day off. And that's how you keep guys sharp. Remember, we have a little age in our outfield, so something Tony will have to protect them.
Anderson strikes out on 3 pitches. First strikeout for Brett Myers. 2 outs, and it brings in Matheny.
So Brett Myers, he stands tall and erect, and then you try to slow him down with that leg kick. He used to be a little more wild with it, and that trying to keep the mechanics all in sync.
Matheny on the first pitch hits it into center for a base hit. 2-out hit for Mike Matheny, and now you'll get the pitcher through the order as Carpenter will dig in.
Little things like that just really do contribute to victories. 8th place hitter, get the pitcher up. Carpenter 1 for 8 on the season.
Arizona is at Chicago tonight. Pittsburgh is at Houston. We'll keep an eye on those ball games as Houston is starting to heat up. Roger Clemens is now 5-0. Houston and Chicago both 15-10. They lead the Central by 2.5 games over the Cardinals. The first pitch is fouled back by Carpenter. Cardinals are 6-11 at Busch Stadium and 7-2 on the road. Popped up behind home plate and into the seats. Tony La Russa is saying it's just one of those things. There's not a reason as to why we haven't won at home, with the exception of we haven't pitched all that well, but it's not a mental block or anything like that.
No, and it'll even out, and hopefully the good road record will continue. But remarkable that the Cardinals have pitched as well as they have on the road, because they've been in all very offensive ballparks.
Carpenter got a piece.
And this one here appears that the ball is going to jump pretty well.
And you're right, it hasn't even heated up.
But, you know, we play in Milwaukee, Houston, Arizona. All 3 of those parks are known for being easy for the home runs to be hit.
Carpenter's making him work here. No balls and 2 strikes as he just got another piece.
When it's all said and done, and everybody's going to be very, very pleased with this signing. Chris Carpenter. I know it was tough on him last year, having to have a second shoulder procedure.
Good rip there.
Good athlete. He's become very vocal as a leader. And Myers has already thrown 26 pitches. He is throwing strikes, though. 20 of his 26 pitches have been strikes.
Another 0-2 pitch to Carpenter. Swing and a miss, and he got him. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 2 in the game for Brett Myers. Bottom of the second is coming up. Cardinals lead it behind Scott Rowlands. 2-out base hit to play 2, and it's 2-0 Cardinals as Chris Carpenter goes back to work. For the Phillies in their half of the second to be Pat Burrell, Mike Lieberthal, and David Bell. Don't forget, tomorrow the Cardinals return to the field. They'll take on Jim Thome and the Phillies. Coverage begins at 5:30 on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Net. Cards and Phillies tomorrow at 5:30 here on Fox Sports Net. Woody Williams will go against Kevin Millwood. in that game tomorrow. We'll also bring you the Thursday game as well. Jeff Suppan against Randy Wolf.
Randy Wolf coming off a very good outing. One of those left-handers that usually give the Cardinals trouble.
Fastball in there for a strike to Pat Burrell. Starting to turn things around, and Burrell had a terrific series against the Cardinals last week. He's hitting .288, 3 home runs and 19 RBIs. One game he was 4 for 4 and took a home run away from Scott Rowland. Here's a 1-1, and Burrell hits it high in the air into left field. Foul territory. Rowland is there. What a play by Scott Rowland.
You don't mind being booed when you make a nice defensive play. You get a little smile and a chuckle. And that's Scott Rowland. A lot of area out there. And looked like maybe the wind might have taken it at the last second as it clears the area. See him check and see where he is on the surface. You can go back on the grass, then you come back on the warning track and you can feel the change of grass to dirt. Give you an idea where you are.
Pre-game show for the Phillies side of things tonight, Al, talked about, they had a debate about Scott Rowland being the greatest defensive third baseman, not just right now, but in the history of baseball. You've seen Brooks Robinson. You saw Mike Schmidt. That's where most of the debate was coming from the Mike Schmidt side. But is he the best you've ever seen?
Well, I think you've got to play longer before you can start. He's better defensively than Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt and Scott Rowland. You win a lot of Gold Gloves based on your defense, and I mean your offense. It's amazing how, I thought Kenny Reitz had a couple Gold Gloves taken away from him because he didn't have the same offensive numbers as Schmidt.
There's a chance for the shortstop Renteria. And Pujols missed it.
What was that? I mean, he just had to have not seen that ball or whatever.
He just flat out missed it.
I mean, I don't know if he's looking into something, but Edgar doesn't really throw him a changeup or anything, but reaches out and it goes right off the webbing. And very odd looking because, Albert is a terrific defensive player. People look at that and they're going to say, oh, you're trying to hide him at first base, and that's not the case. Talking about Gold Gloves, I think he's going to win a share over there.
There's David Bell. And a strike from Carpenter. First time we've ever seen that happen to Pujols. So Lieberthal reaches on the air. And it's 0-2 on Bell. And Carpenter has been ahead in the count early on in these batters. That's good to see, a guy that has struggled a little bit with his control.
Well, that's going to be a thing of the past. I think you're going to just see him be a definite plus as he becomes more competitive. And as I said, first you go through a phase of just knowing that you can throw the ball and your arm's not going to fall off. Then you have to remember you haven't pitched in nearly 2 years, so you're facing the best competition, and he'll get equal to it, making quality pitches.
2-2 on Bell.
You miss there, you miss down. You're not going to get hurt in those areas.
Edmonds playing deep for Bell. That's maybe the deepest we have seen Jim Edmonds play. And maybe one of the reasons why is a new ballpark and just getting a feel for the dimensions of this field.
I'm not sure if it's as deep as you really think it is, because it's 409 there, 401, but it's very shallow in the power alleys. About 355 with a Bud Light sign in left field.
And one is pulled foul.
That's a good looking sign.
Rowland even gets booed on the foul balls. So David Bell, who was with the Cardinals in 95 and 96 and 97 and 98. Was off to Seattle and San Francisco. Only played in 85 games last season for the Phillies after signing a big contract.
Had physical problems.
The 3-2 pitch. And Bell rips it into left center. Edmonds on the move. In front of the track, and he's got it.
Now the reason why Jimmy may be playing a little deep is we talk about in this ballpark, the ball really flies well. As a pitcher, you want to throw the ball out there to your center fielder. You got a Gold Glover, but it's also the deepest part of the field.
Brings in Jimmy Rollins, number 8 man in this lineup, with the pitcher on deck. Cardinals in their half of the second were able to get Carpenter through the order. The Cardinals will have the top of the order coming up in third. And Rollins has been the target this year instead of Pat Burrell as far as boos by these fans, hitting under 200. He's at 198. Two-time All-Stars, Jimmy Rollins.
Tantalizing breaking ball over for a strike. And then all of a sudden he freezes him with a fastball. And Carpenter really showing his command.
0-2 the count on Rollins. It's been a slow start for these Phillies. Mentioned a game under the 500 mark. And this is supposed to be their breakout year with this new ballpark. Popped up into shallow center. Edmonds coming on, calls off Renteria, takes charge and makes the play. Some boos now for Jimmy Rollins. We head to the third, top of the order coming up. This day in baseball history, May 4th, 1954, is brought to you by Schnucks. The Phillies and Cardinals set a major league record using 42 players in one game. Philadelphia wins the game 14-10 in 11 innings. This day in baseball history is brought to you by Schnucks. 2-0 Cardinals as we move to the top of the third at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia.
Did you see what the current record is? That was 50 years ago. Cardinals used 42 players combined. The current record stands at a combined 54 players for an extra inning game.
It's Tony Womack, 0 for 1. As he popped out to start the game, popped out to short. Cardinals last few seasons, Al, so station to station, and now this guy has arrived on the scene and really given the offense a spark at the top of the order. Hot shot to Rollins. He can't handle it.
Some more boos. Tony Womack, like you said, knows what to do there. Of course, Reggie Sanders also stealing some bases. Renteria, you know, get his share, but a hot shot, tries to backhand it, gets underneath the glove. And with Tony's speed, he's on safely at first. He scored a base hit, rightfully so.
So here's Ray Langford. He's 1 for 1 with a run scored. The ball almost got away with Womack in the top 5 as far as stolen bases in the National League at first. Now they have given Rollins an error on that. So he is charged with the error. Cardinals have an error by Pujols. Womack is the runner at first. Let's see if they can make them pay with that error, with the ball in the dirt. So the Cardinals have 4 hits. The Phillies have 1. St. Louis leading it 2-0.
A modern player plays everything to the side and usually scored a hit. And I know that ball was hit hard, but if you play it squared up and it gets away from you, it hits you in the chest, you pick it up and throw the guy out.
That was hit hard enough, even with a guy like Womack and his speed. You're right. Knock it down, you still get him out.
Tony had that look about him. Looked like he wanted to go on that last pitch, but took his first kind of steps and then stopped. Got a big lead at first. Almost had him there. But usually the hitter is going to get a pretty good pitch to hit. Pay a lot of attention to that base runner out there. Have a tendency to get more fastballs.
One and two on Ray Langford.
Change up there.
With Womack reaching again tonight. He has reached base in each of his last 8 starts. So Womack is the runner at first. A count of 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody out here in the third. Langford picked up a base hit his first time up. A single to the opposite field. A ball and 2 strikes. A swing and a miss, and Langford strikes out. Third strikeout for the right-hander Brett Myers, and it brings in Pujols. Pujols a double. First time up, came around to score on the base hit back in the first from Scott Rowland.
Pitch up and in, and he just rifled it.
Fastball misses low and away that first time up. You're right, it was a fastball that was at the letters. Pujols turned on it for a one-hop double off the wall in the left field corner. The check on Womack.
I'll be worrying about Pujols.
Kind of guy over there, I'm thinking the same thing, but Womack is the kind of guy that just gets under your skin. You being a pitcher, Al, you know, you sit there and you see a guy like that. Got to be mindful of his speed at first. As Pujols pounds it towards third. David Bell, long throw over to Tommy. There's 2 outs with Womack advancing to second.
Interesting there. They never even looked at the lead runner. Albert Pujols still getting a lot of assortment of off-speed pitches. The fastballs, he can hit the fastballs. And this is the first inning where he hits the double down in the left field corner. But the last pitch is the off-speed pitch.
Edmonds, opposite field, base hit. Cardinals lead it 3-0 as Jimmy, a wide turn around first, picks up an RBI. Womack scores, and all the RBIs have come with 2 outs against Brett Myers. 3-0 St. Louis.
That's a great sign. It's just you keep on punishing, you keep on working hard, but 2 out base hits. They're devastating to the opposition, and they translate into victories. So set up away. And that ball up there is getting whacked. The fastball struck out Langford on a breaking ball. He got the breaking ball to Pujols for the ground ball to third.
Here's Scott Rowland, 2-run single back in the first. Hitting over 400 against his former team. Balls behind, no balls and 2 strikes. With Renteria waiting on deck and the Cardinals leading by 3 runs. Marlon Byrd, the center fielder, very deep for Rowland. Roll as well and left, very deep. No balls, 2 strikes. Some talk about Brett Myers possibly being moved to the bullpen. They did that with Randy Wolf a couple of seasons ago to get him straightened out, and it paid off, and some believe that that could happen here with Brett Myers as he continues to struggle. 2-2.
it rarely works because you just can't get a guy enough work. And he also mentally knows it's a demotion. But you can understand why they're thinking that, because Matson, that reliever, is outstanding.
Rollins to his left. Nice play. Force at second, and he is out. Good play by Jimmy Rollins. Cardinals pick up another run. They lead it by 3.
Back, Cardinals have a 3-run lead, and very interesting with Pujols. Watch on the left. Now, that's a fastball that he hit a double. He gets a top hand over that one, and got a double in the left field corner. The other one, the one on the right, is an off-speed pitch where he hits the top part of it, got the ground ball, and got himself out. He's getting very, very close, but his timing is a little bit off on the off-speed pitches. Fastball on the left, off-speed pitch on the right, and got on top of it and hit a ground ball.
Strikeout number 2 for Chris Carpenter, and that's how we start the bottom half of the third. We're back to the top of the order. Cardinals got 2 runs in the first and added another one. Here in the third, they lead it by 3 runs. Only time I see Pujols struggle, Al, is when you see him pound the ball because he's out in front just a bit, like you're saying, and pounds it towards third base, and that's what we just saw in his last at bat, and he's 1 for 2 on the night. Marlon Byrd grounded to short his first time up.
Just like the way that Carpenter's attacking these Phillies hitters. For the most part, he's getting ahead of them. Throwing strikes with all of his pitches. He's got that good pace, get the ball. Not wasting a lot of time. Signifying to a hitter that he's in command. He's the one that's dictating the pace.
On 1 and 2, that one gets away from Carpenter, a breaking ball, and Byrd is hit. So they'll have a base runner with 1 out, and Placido Polanco digging in.
Just lost the release point on it and cast that ball. They're getting on top of it. You see, he knows what he did. It's the 3rd batter he's hit this year.
Well, we saw for a number of years Placido Polanco, a great hit and run man, and here's a chance now with a runner at first. And Polanco is 1 for 1 on the night.
Saying he's been hitting in very tough luck. A lot of line drives right at people. It's hard to believe that Polanco only 1 RBI. He has a home run. That's the only RBI he has on the year.
Tries to go the opposite way. Pujols only plays to step on the bag at first. There's 2 outs.
You have to make sure you get 1 out there. Almost as if he didn't think he had the good handle. And that's a tough play for a right-handed first baseman.
Looked to me like he struggled a little bit, like you said, on the exchange out of the glove.
Right, and so don't force the issues, but you got to go through Abreu and Tolman.
Abreu grounded out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Hitting under 250 with 5 home runs and 14 RBIs. Runner at second is Marlon Byrd. 1-1 the count with Jim Thome on deck. Mentioned that Woody Williams and Kevin Millwood will pitch tomorrow night, and then on Thursday afternoon Jeff Suppan against Randy Wolf, and Wolf is 2-1 on the season. Suppan is 2-3. Lifted down the left field line, but out of play. 2 strikes now on Abreu.
.66, 230. Carpenter very good makeup. And becoming a vocal leader on this pitching staff.
Good pitch there. Had Abreu out in front. Stays 1-2.
Change speeds on his fastball and this at bat. He's throwing his changeup and curveball.
He's thrown 48 pitches on the night. And the 1-2 pitch. Hit high in the air, pretty well hit. Langford is back. Langford leaps. It's out of here. Home run number 6 for Bobby Abreu, and it's 3-2 St. Louis.
Bobby Abreu by far has had the most success against Carpenter. 1 for 2 today, a .417 average coming in, 5 for 12, and that just shows you this ballpark here how dangerous it can be. Breaking ball, got underneath it, but just hit it hard enough and far enough for it to get to the first row. Wasn't that bad a pitch, but this ballpark, the ball travels extremely well.
Here's Jim Thome.
Breaking ball, it's got a little slower arc. He got underneath it. A lot of times you see a guy swing the bat like that, you just don't think it's going to go.
He's out on his front foot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're fooled a little bit, but balls fly in these ballparks today.
Thome into center. Edmonds for the third out, and we play 3. Bobby Abreu, his 6th home run. He's hit 139 home runs in his Phillies career. That's 10th most in club history, and he's only 11 away to tie Scott Rowland for 9th place in franchise history. His 2-run home run has made it a 3-2 St. Louis lead. We're in the 4th, and here's Edgar Renteria. Renteria, and Marlon Anderson and Mike Matheny. Cardinals got 2 runs in the first and picked up another in the third. Edgar hitting just a shade below 300. He's at 295. 0-2 the count. Talked about the home runs being the difference maker for Larry Bowa and the Philadelphia Phillies. With that 2-run home run, they have 100 runs scored this season. 45 have come via the home run. Nearly 50%. Good pitch on the outside corner. The strikeout of the Cardinal shortstop. Number 4 for Brett Myers.
I think it was even a higher percentage. I think it was 52 when they were at Busch Stadium last week. Larry Bowa really complained about the on-base percentage of his 2 real leadoff guys. You know, consider Rollins and Bird. Rollins batting 8, but that type of leadoff candidate.
On the first pitch, Marlon Anderson is now 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Quickly 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. St. Louis fans, visit STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for live game pitch-by-pitch coverage. MLB TV and MLB.com game day audio. STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Here's Mike Matheny, singled. His first time up, and he's 1 for 1. We heard that the ball jumps out of this ballpark, like we've said, and it proved to be true in that home run by Abreu.
One of the complaints also is if you look at the foul pole, particularly left field, people say it is so much wider. Circumference of the foul pole is so much greater that people behind it say they can't see. And you can see there's a big section where it looks like they don't sell the tickets. It's more like a tree trunk.
1-1 pitch to Matheny. Popped up. Polanco calling for it. And a 1-2-3 inning for the right-hander Brett Myers. Burrell, Lieberthal, and David Bell coming up for the Phillies. Cardinal fans, be the Southwest Airlines family of the game and sit in the special Southwest Airlines suite at Busch. Send a postcard to P.O. Box 771192, St. Louis, Missouri 63177. This Cardinals telecast is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines, the official airlines of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Chris Carpenter is going to have to do the same thing that his counterpart did. Go out and throw a very efficient and easy inning.
7 pitches. The top of this 4th inning for Brett Myers. And it's a strike to Pat Burrell. Pat Burrell last season now batted .209, and he was flirting with dipping below 200 for pretty much the entire season. Wound up with 21 home runs and 64 RBIs, and that was coming off a year before in which he had 37 home runs and well over 100 RBIs. College Player of the Year out of Miami, was a terrific college player. Didn't take much time in the minor leagues and then was up in the majors.
Had that big contract signed.
$50 million
for a very young player. It was set the standard right there, but struggled his first year with it.
Ooh. Watch out.
Uncle Milty.
Milt Thompson over there, the first base coach.
Still got his reflexes. Asked Larry Bowa about Milt Thompson, one of our favorites, and he said he's doing a great job. Very happy for that. Very happy to see him work his way up to the big leagues.
Good pitch on the outside corner, and Burrell strikes out. Strikeout number 3 for Chris Carpenter.
Carpenter using both sides of the plate very effectively, and for the most part getting ahead in the count. Mike Matheny didn't have to frame anything. Just hit his glove perfectly.
Here's Lieberthal. Pitch that is up, and he whacks it for a base hit.
Lieberthal reached on the error. Now he gets the base hit. You can't believe his batting average.
Under 200. Here's David Bell. Fly to center his first time up. He's hitting .222. Phillies moved into this ballpark with the idea that they would compete this year. Many around baseball feel that this is the team to beat despite their slow start in the National League East. Florida might have a thing or two to do about that.
Well, the only thing that they've been fine, they just haven't been able to beat Florida. They're already 0-6 and have lost 18 of the last 20 meetings between the Fish.
But they played just decent baseball last year against Florida. Florida may not get to the playoffs and win the World Series. It would have been the Phillies that was the wild card.
Right. But, you know, that plays on your mind. Florida's should be part of the equation. And I think a lot of people feel is the Phillies will still be there in the end.
Ed Wade, the general manager, was able to sign David Bell and Jim Thome and keep Kevin Millwood and go out and acquire Billy Wagner. Signed Pat Burrell long term. 4 straight and David Bell walks. So the last 2 have reached now against Carpenter. He's hit a little bump in the road. He has hit a man, and that's his first walk.
8th place hitter. Now that's struggling. So you can still find your outs to get out of the inning. But you don't want to be giving free passes to the bottom of the order in a 1-run game.
So Lieberthal is hitting under 200, and so is Jimmy Rollins. Lines this one into right center. Edmonds is there. 2 outs.
This is not one of the places you want to play when you're struggling.
He's made an error tonight, and he's 0 for 2.
You know, he even booed Mike Schmidt here.
Brett Myers. Of course, everybody knows they booed Santa. Derek Jeter got booed the other night. Yankee Stadium. As he was 0 for 32 for a stretch of his career. Two 2-0 on the pitcher, Myers.
Struck him out looking the first time, but Myers a big guy. Swing the bat a little bit, so don't just groove one. He's an amateur boxer. His father was a boxing trainer. Had some good ones. Including Frazier.
For a little bit of time, yep. 2-2 the count on Myers. With 2 runners on. Phillies have stranded 2 in this game. Cardinals lead at 3-2. And a chopper easily handled by Renteria. Over to Albert Pujols. Phillies have stranded 4. Larry Boa. And the Phillies trailing by a run. The all-new Ford F-150, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, now with $1,500 cash back. Come check it out. The all-new Ford F-150, only at your Quality Ford stores. Your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. Cardinals leading this one 3-2. 5 hits, an error side. Phillies with 3 hits. The Cardinals lead it by a run as we move to the 5th.
It's just a love fest here.
Proposal out there in the stands. The city of brotherly love here, Al. Some fans are watching the ball game. Other fans here in Philly watching the pucks. As the Flyers trying to close out their series against Toronto. Here's Chris Carpenter. He'll lead things off. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Carpenter struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Myers has struck out 4 in the game. One of the unique aspects to this ballpark is following the out-of-town scores. On their scoreboard, they have the biggest scoreboard in all of baseball, and it's similar to what we saw in Pittsburgh. It's a little bit different, though, because they give you the pitcher, they give you where the runners are, they give you the outs, and they tell you top or bottom on that scoreboard, but you can follow along inning by inning on that scoreboard out in right field and right center.
I think that's a great feature, and really makes it interesting to follow your competitors. 2 men on, 1 out. Toronto leading Kansas City 5-0. The top of the 5th inning. Kansas City, boy, they off to a tough start.
Got off to the great start last year in the thick of the race, but not this year. Minnesota will play at Seattle later. 2-2 pitch to Carpenter. Rounder to Polanco on the outfield grass for out number 1. Skyline you can see at this ballpark. Downtown Philadelphia. They've got the largest scoreboard and video screen beyond the left field wall. They've done a terrific job with this ballpark. Football stadium opened up just across the way. That was this year.
Very nice.
And it's not the vet. That's a positive, Al.
Oh, it's positive. Still, I mean, if you're going to do these retro fields, you got to do things like the old ballparks had. You know, Connie Mack, you're sitting in the home bullpen.
As Womack lines it up the middle. Bird over to cut it off.
You could go out a door, across the street, right into the little tavern.
Now, which ballpark did you have to walk through the concourse from the bullpen if you wanted to go to the bathroom?
Oh, that was in Dodger Stadium.
Okay.
You know, there was no bathroom for the bullpen, so you had to go out with the bleacher fans. You know, they worry about these people here. Dodger Stadium, you go out and
You were with the fans.
You were with the fans. You're walking on concrete with your spikes, and nobody worried about you.
Now, how much fun are those guys? How much fun are those guys having? The fans and the players out there in the bullpen.
We had a pitcher named Lowell Palmer one time, and he had played for Philadelphia. Good advancement right there. Just good anticipation by Womack. As soon as that ball had a separation from Lieberthal, the catcher, he was off running to second.
Wild pitch.
Takes that secondary lead. He saw the separation and takes off, and not even a play.
Wild pitch charge to Brett Myers.
But Lowell Palmer was at the bat. He would wear a helmet down in the bullpen, and he would kind of induce the fans from the upper deck to throw things. One day he got $50 in quarters. That was about a day's pay for us, too. Thrown at him.
Langford pulls it towards first. Tomey can't handle it, and another run is going to score. Langford is around first base, trotting into second. Womack crosses home plate, and it's 4-2 St. Louis.
I think Jim Tomey will tell you more times than not he gobbled this ball up. On his toes, goes to his left, and misses a glove. It hit him in the toe. But Tony Womack, always hustling, a good anticipation, knows it to the right side, so he just put his head down and took off and comes in on home, so the Cardinals have their 2-run lead back.
Well, you look back at the third inning, it was an error charge to Jimmy Rollins. That came around to score. That was Womack who reached on the error, and now you had the wild pitch allowing him to advance to second. Now the error by Jim Tomey, so the Phillies are shooting themselves in the foot.
Literally, because that did hit Tomey's, I think, his left foot, the front toe. Bill Kerrigan visit the pitcher, but there's Jim Tomey. Of course, Jim Tomey can make up for it with one swing of the bat.
So Langford is the runner at second base with one out, and the Cardinals leading 4-2. And here's Pujols. That one's in the dirt, and a good pick by Lieberthal.
It's kind of a blind stab, but came up with it.
Two-0 on Albert Pujols. Albert tonight doubled and scored in the first. Rounded out to third. His second time up, he's 1 for 2. No activity yet at Phillies bullpen, although a couple of those pitchers starting to stretch out there. On 2-0, what will Pujols do? Reaches out. Ground ball to Polanco. Thought about going to third. Instead goes to first, gets the for sure out. There's 2 outs. Best Damn Sports Show period coming up later tonight here on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Net, following the Midwest Sports Report. On the program tonight for the Marlins repeat. And Jerry Rice on SAP Jumping Ship tonight at 11. The Best Damn Sports Show period. Marlins are talking about their home as well. Well, where was that going to wind up taking itself? I mean, that thing's, they said, hey, we're going to have a downtown stadium. Now we're not going to have a downtown stadium. Now they're looking at another site. It's been rejected.
Can't get any financing.
There's a base hit into right. Another 2-out hit and another 2-out RBI for Jim Edmonds.
We talk about how the Cardinals were not hitting with runners in scoring position, and tonight they've been exceptional in the toughest situation with 2 outs. Totally missing location. Designed to be down and away, and that was on the inner half, and Jimmy just turned on it.
Cardinals lead it 5-2 here in the 5th. The boos are for Scott Rowland as he'll dig in for the 3rd time tonight.
They kind of lost their luster, though, aren't they?
Big time.
Kind of not enjoying the boo.
1-0 pitch to Scott Rowland. 1-1. A few years ago, we came through Philadelphia with J.D. Drew, and batteries were thrown on the field. But not for Scott Rowland. Just a bunch of boos. The 1-1 pitch.
Well, the players can handle boos, but no one should have to tolerate being thrown at, you know, with batteries and different things like that.
Unless you invite it to get your $50 by wearing your hard hat.
Yeah.
On 1-2, he bloops it into right field, and it is a base hit. And Edmonds stops at second. So Rowland has his second hit of the night. He's 2 for 3.
Larry Boa kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve, and Scott Rowland's always under control. Bobby Abreu comes in, clearly traps the ball, tries to sell it to the umpires, but they were hustling out there and saw that it bounced.
So this will be the seventh man to step to the dish for the Cardinals in this inning. Renteria ground ball to Polanco. Cardinals strand 2, but they pick up some more. Bottom of the 5th is coming up, and the Cardinals behind Edmonds, another 2-out RBI hit, and they lead it here in Philly in game 1, 5-2. Cardinals, bottom of the 5th, 8 hits against Brett Myers. 2 runs that the Cardinals scored in the top of this inning, unearned. St. Louis leads it by 3 runs, and here's Marlon Byrd, the leadoff man for the Phillies. He lines it down the right field line. It is slicing, and it's a foul ball.
Nice grab by a Penn Stater.
No balls and 2 strikes on Marlon Byrd.
Did you see the Marty Prather sign for me and during the Cup Series?
I did not see it.
Hungo and Steve Bartman for president.
Steve Bartman, in talking with Steve Stone and Chip Carey, has gone completely underground. People still trying to get a hold of him, but they don't know if he still lives at the same place, residence in Chicago, or what.
That's a shame.
I thought Dusty Baker did a good job, and he should have. He's got to come out and say to people, hey, he wasn't the reason that Gonzalez made an error and that we fell apart. Just part of that inning that took place for Chicago. And a strikeout there, Marlon Byrd for out number 1. We talked tonight about Scott Rowland. He's played a big part in this game with a couple of hits and 2 RBIs. Athletic trivia question: in '97, Rowland won the National League Rookie of the Year award. Who won that award in the American League? I believe he's still on the disabled list.
I believe so.
Here's Polanco with 1 out, nobody on.
So you got about 100 choices there.
Mm-hmm.
On any given day, there's close to 100 players on the disabled list.
Polanco up the middle. Renteria to his left. Stretched by Pujols, 2 outs.
I like Carpenter.
Efficient again, and it just it seems to me every time he goes out, Al, that the rust is getting off his arm and his shoulder, and the control, the pinpoint accuracy is getting much better on the pitches that he needs to have to be successful.
And that's it. I mean, just getting back to being competitive, executing pitches at the highest level. He'll just get better as he goes along. He'll have a hiccup here and there. And I think we're all gonna say we could definitely have a keeper.
Here's Bobby Abreu. 2-run home run his last time up. 1 for 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Carpenter's 1 win. He has a record of 1-1. Was his first start of the season in Arizona. That's a strike on the outside corner. 2-1.
Last 2 times out, 6 innings, At Milwaukee, only 1 run allowed. Philadelphia, 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs on a 2-run home run by Tomey.
Again to the opposite field for Abreu. It is slicing and foul. His home run just snuck over the wall in left in his last at bat. That's 2 balls and 2 strikes. With Jim Tomey waiting on deck.
Kind of almost shades of Houston. It's only 329. Left-handers have a pretty distinct advantage because the ball jumps to right field, and they say it jumps here too, but we also see the ball can go to left pretty effectively too. And we haven't got the warm weather yet.
2-2 pitch to Abreu. Drills it into right field. That ball is gone. A home run for Bobby Abreu.
Yep, goes to right.
2 home runs on the night for Abreu. And it's a 5-3 St. Louis lead.
Tomey hit a 2-run home run against Carpenter at Busch Stadium, and now Abreu has hit a 2-runner and a solo shot. So he has 7 home runs and 17 RBIs. An off-speed pitch, changeup, and just left it down and in.
Tomey to the opposite field. This could be trouble. Langford back. He leaps and it's gone. Over the wall, back-to-back home runs. And it's 5-4 St. Louis.
Now the 2 lefties. Talked about it, worth mentioning again that Tomey is 8th home run, and look at this, in opposite field. That ball just looked like a pop-up leaving the bat, but it just goes out there. Left-handers have now hit all 7 home runs against Carpenter. And it came in with a 368 average, and Abreu and Tomey, the 2 biggest threats, have added more punishment to Chris Carpenter.
Crowd on their feet now for Pat Burrell. Ball 1.
So lefties have had their way in the early going against Carpenter, but Carpenter has really dominated against right-handed batters.
Burrell is 0 for 2.
Danny, this is really a cool, even cold night. And based on what we've seen, you may have to come in here. If you came in here in the heart of the summer, you might not let your pitchers watch batting practice.
Ball is jumping tonight. Three and 1 on Pat Burrell, with Mike Lieberthal waiting on deck. Some anxious moments here for Carpenter and Dave Duncan, the Cardinals pitching coach. Check swing and a strike. Full count.
Now the Cardinals only had allowed 5 home runs on the road, and 3 here tonight.
Foul ball, no activity in either bullpen thus far. That home run by Jim Tomey ties him now with Johnny Bench on the all-time home run list. Burrell lines it foul and out of play.
Carpenter's still trying to get through this 5th inning.
.88 pitches thrown by Carpenter. Another 3-2 pitch coming to Pat Burrell. Well hit into left. They've gone back to back to back. crushed.
Second deck for Pat Burrell's home run, his fourth. 20 RBIs now. We have a tie ball game. You don't often see back-to-back, let alone back-to-back-to-back. First right-handed batter to hit a home run off of Carpenter.
Got the first two in the inning, but 3 consecutive home runs, and now Lieberthal. The game is tied at 5.
189 for Mike.
Lots of 2-out runs tonight. The Phillies pick up 3 of their own in this inning.
Well, all their runs are 2 outs. 2-run home run by Abreu in the third came with 2.
2-1 the count. Look at the scorecard for the Phillies. The back-to-back-to-back, all in red here in the 5th. Little looper into right, and that drops for a hit. In front of Marlon Anderson. He was playing awfully deep in right field. And now Lieberthal is hit in 12 of his last 14 games.
Bullpen will get active now, as you were right. Marlon Anderson playing very deep, but that's something that Tony told him to do. Had a couple tough plays on balls hit over his head and playing left field. Got Josh Pierce. Yes. And they told Marlon to play deeper to guard against that.
Here's Bell. 4 consecutive hits for the Phillies. They're tied at 5 here in the 5th.
Playing deep. Ray Lankford's going to play pretty deep too, just by the way the ball carries here.
Backhanded by Rowland. What a play. Long throw. Wow, what a play by Scott Rowland. 3 consecutive home runs for the Phillies. They've tied it up at 5.
What? Let's get out of here. Catch that Cardinals game over an edge. Let's go. Nah, you guys go ahead. I'm not really up on baseball. All right. See you tomorrow. See you later.
Watching Fox Sports Net.
Jim Thome has homered in 6 of the last 10 Philly games. This is our 4th key matchup against Chris Carpenter. This is updated. He's 6 for 22 with a pair of home runs. One of those tonight. Jim Thome with an opposite field home run. And Thome sandwiched in between the home runs of Abreu and Pat Burrell. So 3 consecutive home runs against Chris Carpenter. Now Jim Thome with what he's done tonight, Al. 32 for 71 and 34 RBIs against the Cardinals in what now is his 21st game against St. Louis.
And just Carpenter was playing for Toronto. Thome was 4 for 17 against him. And he's only got 2 more hits, but they've both been home runs off of Carpenter now that he's wearing the Cardinal uniform. Thome just loves that uniform.
Yes, he does. Here's Marlon Anderson. Cardinals have Pierce, a right-hander, throwing in the bullpen. And Chris Carpenter is due up 3rd in this inning. (1999), the last time the Phillies had 3 consecutive home runs, in April of '99, as Anderson slaps it the other way and foul. 0-2 the count. Marlon Anderson tonight is 0 for 2.
How come he doesn't get booed? Wouldn't you feel like you're not
left out of the fun?
You're not loved. If you're an ex-Philly and you don't get booed,
You're not booed.
I'd be upset. I might have to hit a home run to get booed.
Try to go inside here on Anderson, and he pulls it foul. Again with that home run, Jim Thome has tied Johnny Bench for 42nd on the all-time home run list. Anderson stays alive. Bobby Abreu, his 2 home runs tonight. Then Jim Thome went deep, and then it was a no-doubter off the bat of Pat Burrell.
What this lineup would have been if Scott Rowland stayed here.
Right. If he stays, you don't know about Kevin Millwood.
Well, or you don't know if they would have the money to sign Thome either.
Yep. 1-2 the count on Anderson, with Matheny waiting on deck, and then Carpenter's spot due up. Breaking ball hit up the middle. Polanco got a glove on it, but it trickles into center field, and Anderson reaches to start the 6th. The Aflac trivia question: in '97, Scott Rowland was the National League's Rookie of the Year. Who won that award in the American League? The Boston Red Sox. It was Nomar Garciaparra. Red Sox have got some big-time decisions coming up in this offseason with Pedro Martinez, Nomar Garciaparra, Derek Lowe, and Jason Varitek all due up for free agency.
And Beantown is starting to become controversial.
Pedro has said that he will not negotiate anymore this season, and that the Red Sox will have to be lumped into everybody else once the offseason gets here and outbid anybody else for his services. And you would figure George Steinbrenner, he hears that, he's licking his chops. And even if Pedro has diminished velocity and isn't the pitcher that he once was, just to get him in pinstripes would be a coup. As Matheny hits a line drive into left.
That'll probably guarantees now that Carpenter will be pinch hit for.
What's on tap? Brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Cards and Phils tomorrow. Ford pregame show. Cardinals tonight comes your way at 5:30, and it's Woody Williams and Kevin Millwood hooking up tomorrow. Roberto Hernandez throwing in the Phillies bullpen. Colin Porter will be the pinch hitter for St. Louis.
Joe Kerrigan come out and talk to his pitcher. Could possibly even make a pitching change.
We'll talk about the situation here with first and second, and Colin Porter. Really not a book on him, but let's see if he can bunt.
Well, he started against the Phillies last Thursday and had his first career multi-hit game, going 2 for 3 with a run scored.
Left off that 40-man roster by Houston, and the Cardinals picked him up. Home plate umpire Kerwin Danley says, let's speed it up, guys. Let's go.
Got all the infield in to talk about the possibilities of how to defense a potential bunt. And that could change as see how the count goes, whether it's going to be in Porter's favor or not.
10 hits for the Cardinals tonight.
You almost wonder here, though, if you play for one run, if that's worth it. Yeah. The way the ball's flying here, you just may not want to get one run with this much time left.
I agree with you there, and I also think I could see the other way, too. You've got Billy Wagner sitting in that bullpen. It's, you've got to try to get that lead before the 8th inning, 9th inning rolls around against Philadelphia.
Yeah, but that's why you say you give him a shot, maybe the first pitch a swing, then you could change off, put something else on.
Hit high in the air to center. Marlon Byrd is back. Anderson will tag up from second to third, so Colin Porter does the job in advancing the runner. And with one out, Tony Womack will step in.
Marlon Byrd does the right thing, too, by throwing the ball to second base. Don't try and get the lead runner. By throwing the ball to second base, you keep the double play in order.
Womack has reached on an error and scored, and singled and scored in the 5th. Anderson is the go-ahead run. We're tied at 5 here in the 6th. Cardinals have out-hit the Phillies 10-7. David Bell is playing in. Do a lot of things here with Womack. Very good bunter. Good speed at third base with Marlon Anderson. And David Bell, well aware of that. He is way in on the grass at third base, and Tomey holds it first.
Already made a couple successful squeezes to Gucci and Luna.
Now it's count of no balls and 2 strikes.
Here's the pitcher, though. Best thing you can do is go get control the count, get ahead 0-2, and diminish the chances for that squeeze play.
Goes the opposite way. Rollins, nice play at second, but the run will score, and the Cardinals have the lead. It's 6-5 St. Louis. Heck of a play here made by Jimmy Rollins, as he was towards the bag at second base and had to go a long way to get that baseball.
Well, I liked the way Womack, he saw the pitch was up out over there, changed speeds on him and everything, and just shot for the vacant hole. And Rollins did a nice job to get it in the hole, but no chance to get his feet. Cardinals take a lead as Marlon Anderson scores from third base.
Here's Langford. Singled and scored in the first, struck out in the third.
Had on.
And reached on an error and scored in the 5th. Presume this will be it for Brett Myers. He is due up second for the Phillies in their half of the 6th. Laboring in this game. A lot of 2-out runs in this game. Let's see if Langford can add to that total. See if Tony Womack wants to be aggressive, get in scoring position. Give Langford a chance to drive him in.
Pitchers make a lot of mistakes with 2 outs, worrying about a base runner. Should be worrying about the guy at the plate, because with 2 outs, you get him out, that guy can't score.
Strike 1 on Langford.
Big lead by Womack.
Back in safely. Cardinals have never trailed in this game. 2 runs in the first, a run in the third, and 2 in the 5th, and 1 here in the 6th. They lead it 6-5. 0-1 pitch to Ray as Womack is running. It shatters his bat, and it's a foul ball.
Good firewood, and one part of the bat went further than the ball did. The ball went to Oquendo at third base, and splinters are just being picked up.
So it's 0-2 on Langford with 2 outs here in the 6th, and Womack, the runner at first base. Get a ball in the gap and watch Tony run. Trying to extend it to Albert Pujols, waiting on deck. Another check on Womack.
Like that was called from the bench. Worrying about the running game. But you're 0-2, get the hitter.
And Ray just got a piece. Houston playing Pittsburgh tonight. They're in the 3rd. That game is tied at 1. Chicago hosting Arizona at Wrigley Field in the 4th. Diamondbacks leading 1-0. Count of no balls, 2 strikes on Langford. Myers is set with Womack the runner at first. And he is slowed down considerably.
Why? I mean, go right after the hitter. You worrying about that base runner, then you're separating your concentration, more liable to make a mistake to the hitter.
Pitch out and undoing.
That's called from the bench.
A ball and 2 strikes on Langford. Now he steps out. Two and 2 on Ray. So the count even. Womack the runner at first base.
They had the advantage, starting to give it back to the hitter.
Watching the fielders. Look at the fielders, Al.
Well, that's right. I mean, they're going to be standing around like that. And all of a sudden, if Ray hits the ball, they're not going to be as sharp. They're back on their heels.
There goes Womack. Pitches a ball, and it's a full count now on Langford.
I'll tell you what, Ray's got the greatest eye I've seen.
Pretty good pitch, it looked
Yes,
like.
it did. And there's Womack with another steal, his 9th. 9 for 9.
He's in scoring position.
They did all that worrying about him, and he still got out there.
Langford pulls it. We'll do it again. Another 3-2 pitch to Ray Langford.
Now with the 3-2 count and 2 outs, Tony Womack can call the home game. You know, he can get a tremendous jump. He looks in, and if he sees the ball that's in the strike zone, sees Ray start to swing, he can just start taking off and run home.
3-2 pitch. Langford just got a piece.
He had exactly what he did was just, you know, right there. He looks in, he sees Ray cock it and start to swing, and that runner out at second base doesn't need an umpire to be the judge. He can just take off and get a tremendous jump. Infielders are playing back. They're not going to be paying too much attention to him.
The 3-2 pitch. Langford takes ball 4. Pretty good eye there by Ray.
Inside, but
now you've got Pujols with first and second. That's going to be it for Brett Myers. Had him 0-2. Lost Langford. Walked him, and it's first and second. For Albert Pujols, it looks like a double switch here for the Phillies. Brett Myers allows 10 hits tonight. Roberto Hernandez will come in from the Phillies bullpen. Pujols will dig in with this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the official hotel of Cardinal broadcast on Fox Sports Net, the Renaissance Grand Hotel. Roberto Hernandez is into the game. He's appeared in more games in Major League history than any other pitcher from Puerto Rico. This will be appearance number 774 for Hernandez. Opponents hitting close to 300 against him. We saw him in the series in St. Louis. And this will be his 13th appearance of 2004.
ranks 9th in Major League Baseball's all-time list with 320 saves. Pitched 2 games this year. An inning and a third. Tomas Perez stays in, plays third base, so he will be in the 9th spot in the Phillies batting order. And maybe this is going to be a good matchup. Hernandez is throwing the ball very hard in St. Louis, and maybe we'll get that fastball for Pujols. He seems to be more geared for than the off-speed pitch.
Albert is 1 for 3 on the night. with a double and a run scored. Runners at first and second. Langford at first. Womack the runner at second. First pitch taken for a ball by Albert Pujols. Six to 5 St. Louis. We're in the sixth. Pujols fooled a bit on that pitch.
2 sliders, the first 2 pitches, so he's seen Albert way out in front. Trying to avoid throwing the fastball, at least one for a strike.
One and two.
Another slider, having fooled. I've seen more times where he's been off balance already this season than the first 3 years. I think it's just a reflection of him trying to do too much, trying to convince people he deserved that contract. He convinced people he deserved that contract by what he did the first 3 years. Just do your same thing.
On 1 and 2, he pulls it to short. Rollins is there. Force play at second. Pujols 1 for 4 on the night. Cardinals strand a couple. Good work by Hernandez to keep it 6-5. Hot pitch of the game is brought to you by Hardee's. We take you back to the 4th. And this is Chris Carpenter against Pat Burrell. Catches him looking on a 1-2 delivery. It's our Hardee's hot pitch of the game. Pat Burrell would come back next time up and unload on Carpenter with a home run. Our call to the bullpen is brought to you by the official hotel of Cardinal broadcast on Fox Sports Net, the Renaissance Grand Hotel. Cal Eldred is into the game. He allowed Sammy Sosa's 2-run home run in the 9th yesterday. It's been a struggle for Cal. He's allowed runs in 6 of 8 games.
But if you're going to get some mileage out of him, and remember last year he was a mainstay down in the Cardinal bullpen. You've got to get him in these type of games and maybe just relax a little bit.
I wonder if that's been one of the problems for Cal Eldred, the inactivity that he's had. He has not pitched all that much this season.
He's had a couple spots where he's, missed a week and 4 or 5 days, but he's pitched in tough luck too. He's given up an awful lot of hits. Balls have been hit hard, found holes.
2-0 on Jimmy Rollins. Came up and played in 14 games with the Phillies in 2000, so he got a little taste of the big leagues then. And in 2001 was his first full major league season. Two-0 pitch. And a strike. Last season, Rollins hit .263, and he's under .200 this year. 3-1.
Had a good glove last year. He had second best fielding percentage among National League shortstops, but right now, Cal Eldred can't harness his pitches. They've been up.
Another one up, but he gets the call, and it's a full count.
Cal has been around a long time. He pitched last year very successfully out of the bullpen after being off for nearly 2 years with arm problems.
Rollins pops it up. And it's going to be Scott Rowland making the play. Nothing beats a free night at the ballpark. The Cardinals introduce buy one, get one free nights on select dates during the season. With each terrace or upper terrace reserve ticket you purchase, you'll get another ticket free. The next buy one, get one free night is Wednesday night, May 26th. The Cardinals will take on the Pirates. If you wanted more information on that, all the listings on the buy one, get one free dates, call the Cardinals at 421-2400. You can always check it out online at stlcardinals.com.
I wondered if Eldred had called immediately for Scott Rowland, and everyone else kind of vacated it, and Scott was still quite a ways away from that ball, but that was not an easy play.
Tomas Perez Part of a double switch for Larry Bowa in this inning, and this is his first plate appearance of the night. See on that right sleeve of the Phillies patch, remembering Tug McGraw, and also you'll see on top of the shamrock the name Pope in remembrance of Paul Owens, longtime man in this organization, really helped design the 1980 team that won the World Series. Perez just gets a piece.
And the Tugger and the Pope. Paul Owens was longtime general manager and executive.
Just last season, we had a chance to visit with Tug McGraw as he was at a Cardinal game here in Philly. Good pitch by Eldred. Strikeout. 2 up and 2 down.
It's all Cal needs. Just go out there and have one of these type of innings and, get into a little bit of a groove. But he's got great confidence in his ability, and his manager, pitching coach have confidence in him too. Hasn't gone his way to this point, but one good outing, you can build on it.
2 outs, nobody on, and here is Marlon Byrd. So we're back to the top of the order for the Phillies. Grounded to short, hit by a pitch in the 3rd, then came around on a home run by Bobby Abreu, and he struck out in the 5th. Phillies with 4 home runs in this game, 2 by Abreu, and off of Chris Carpenter. In the 5th, they went back to back to back with Abreu, Tomey, and Pat Burrell. Peoria native Jim Tomey. 1-2 the count. Good pitch. Caught the outside corner. 2 strikeouts for Cal Eldred. And 6 innings are in the books. Edmonds, Roland, and Renteria coming up for the Cards.
This week on the Best Damn Sports Show, period, Brian Cox is back in the house all week. Plus, New York Mets legend Ron Darling and NBA analyst Peter Vesey gives us his choice for the championship. From IMAX, Max Kellerman is back. Senator John McCain, the Blazers' rising star Zach Randolph, and baseball writer Ken Rosenthal, the lovely Lauren Sanchez, Jenny McCarthy's here, and Survivor host Jeff Probst. This week at 11.
You're watching Fox Sports Net.
This is our Hyundai long drive inning, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. If the Cardinals hit a home run in this half of the inning, we will have a winner. It's the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. And Jim Edmonds will lead things off for the Cardinals here in the 7th. Edmonds, Roland, and Renteria. The Cardinals trying to hold on. They lead it 6-5. 10-hit attack. Second inning of work here for Roberto Hernandez in relief of Brett Myers. Myers goes 5 2/3. Hernandez got the final out last inning.
It's Phillies had a 14-inning game, and so they're talking about, with Myers not going deep into ball games, going to a 12 pitcher.
First pitch to Edmonds is fouled back. Let's hope for a home run for Gail Hudson. She would be tonight's merchandise winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes.
Let's hope no more wincing by Jim Edmonds on his shoulder.
Heard it during the All-Star game, the home run derby last year, and did not have as good a second half as he did the first half. A lot of that was due to the shoulder, and had a little surgery done on that this past off season.
Surgery on the left one.
Right.
He's grabbing the right one. That's the one he hurt.
Wincing again. It's 0-2. Little chopper. Hernandez quickly to first. They just get Edmonds.
And Hernandez got a cramp or pulled a hamstring when he threw that ball. So they'll come and check him.
39-year-old right-hander.
That's the only problem when you get that age. You know, you just leg injuries kind of get up on you, and then once you get an injury, you don't recover as quickly. And hamstrings are one of the major problems.
You aren't quite old enough, young man, but you'll find that out.
You'd be surprised. So Hernandez looks like he's going to be through for the night as he heads towards the dugout. And it gets that bullpen scurrying out there.
And obviously, we might be here for a while as whoever comes in out of the pen will be given ample time to warm up.
Is that Real Cormier?
Sure looks like it. Come on, Frenchie.
So we head to break as Real Cormier will come in with one out here in the top of the seventh. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Renaissance Grand Hotel, the official hotel of Cardinal broadcast on Fox Sports Net, as Real Cormier is getting loose. This will be his 12th appearance of the season. Last year, his best season in relief of his career. Appeared in a career high 65 games. Had 8 wins over 80 innings. He had a sub-2 ERA. First to do that for the Phillies out of their bullpen since Roger McDowell in 1989. Cardinal fans everywhere. Cubs and Yankees fan right there.
Scott Rowland fans back home.
6-5 Cardinals rolling a big night with a couple of hits.
Brave fan.
Pittsburgh and Houston tied at 1. That's in the 4th.
We have a gentleman down in front of us that has a Scott Rowland jersey on, but then he has it X'd out.
Chicago at home losing 5-0 to Arizona. That's in the 5th. Flyers, of course, are playing tonight in Toronto in Game 6 of their playoff series with the Maple Leafs. We await Cormier to get loose and ready to go.
Talked with Frenchie before the game. Has 2 kids now. Getting up there. Long career.
Came up with the Cardinals in 1991. Just joining us, Real Cormier is getting all the time he needs to loosen up on that mound as Roberto Hernandez. They're facing the first batter here in the 7th. Went out with what looked to be some type of leg injury. And Cormier says he's ready.
Now batting for St. Louis, third baseman Scott Rowland.
My experience, Danny, is when you come in for an injured pitcher and you warm up there, the whole world stops. Everybody's trying to get you to move along, and you usually tell everybody you're ready about 1 batter too soon.
Let's see if that happens here. 1 out, nobody on. So Hernandez goes 2/3 of an inning. Does not allow a hit. All the runs have gone against Myers in his 5 2/3. 1 ball, 1 strike on Scott Rowland. Rowland tonight, a 2-out single to put the Cardinals on top all the way back in the 1st. Was thrown out at second, trying to extend it to a double. He's grounded out, and he's also singled his last time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check swing, and he did not go around. First base umpire Marvin Hudson. Kerwin Danley is behind the plate. Dana DeMuth at second, and Jim Joyce is our third base umpire.
Kerwin Danley's had a pretty effective game.
Yep.
Nobody really seemed like they've disagreed with his calls.
2 balls and a strike on Roland. Third most RBIs in franchise history for the month of April. We'll talk about Scott Rowland on the Midwest Sports Report later tonight.
Maybe we'll be talking about this at bat.
The 3-1. And Rowland pulls it towards third. Tomas Ferre retires Rowland. Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. So Cormier retires the first man, and now it's Renteria with 2 outs and nobody on. Edgar is 0 for 3 on the night. Grounded to short. He struck out and grounded to second. Cormier just turned 37 a few weeks ago.
Up around the Quebec area, suburb north of Montreal.
In New Brunswick, Canada. Resides now in West Palm Beach, Florida. A little warmer down there. A ball and a strike on Edgar.
I don't know, the Montreal were in the West Palm Beach area for a long time before they shared the Jupiter complex with the Cardinals. And then now they're up a little further north as the Florida Marlins split that wonderful complex with the Cardinals.
We will be in Montreal this weekend.
Yep. Lucian and Real have 2 children.
Renteria sticks the bat out into center, and it carries all the way to Marlon Byrd. Cardinals go 1-2-3. It'll be Polanco, Abreu, and Jim Thome coming up for the Phils. 6-5 Cards. Sado Polanco will lead things off. Bottom of the 7th, the Cardinals clinging to a 1-run lead. Cal Eldred in his 2nd inning of work. Cardinals do have a left-hander up and throwing. That is Klein getting loose. You would figure that would be for Mr. Thome or Bobby Abreu. Abreu is on deck, and then you've got Thome.
Tavares is also warming up with Steve.
1 ball, 1 strike on Polanco, who was 1 for 3 on the night. Singled his first time up the middle. He's grounded out to first and grounded to short.
So it looks like this is going to shape up to be a 3-reliever inning. Could be 2.
Good fastball in there from Eldred, who had a very good first inning of work.
Struck out 2 of the 3 men he faced, so hopefully he can get Polanco. Klein will get the 2 lefties.
On 1 and 2, it's pop foul and out of play. Placido Polanco, one of the real good guys in baseball.
Talked to Vukovic, third base coach here. We were commenting on what a class act Polanco is. And in total agreement. Of course, he was very close with Scott Rowland also.
Up and into Polanco, 2 and 2. Crowd of 33,294 tonight at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia.
Like this ballpark. Like that I don't have to pitch it.
Ball has been jumping out on both sides. Phillies with 4 home runs tonight, 2 by the man waiting on deck, Bobby Abreu. They went back to back to back in the 5th.
Watched Edmonds on that last pitch, and just by the location of where that ball was, he started moving towards right field.
Here's a 3-2. Shallow right field. And it's Marlon Anderson. going to be it for Cal Eldred. Nice work by Cal out of the bullpen tonight. As you said, Al, he struck out 2 in the first inning of work and gets his man here in the 7th. That's Polanco. And now you have got Steve Klein loose and ready to go. So the lefty will face Bobby Abreu and Jim Thome. Here comes Klein out of the bullpen. Good work by Cal. It's good to see. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. 6-5 Cards. Steve Klein is off to a good start this year. This will be appearance number 16. ERA is just over 2. Appeared in the ball game yesterday against Chicago. Just a third of an inning. Allowed a hit, but did not come around to score. So Steve Klein is into the game to face Bobby Abreu and Jim Thome. Abreu's had a big night. A 2-run home run in the 3rd and a solo shot in the 5th. He is 2 for 3.
Yeah, Steve Klein goes after him if he uses the sinker or the slider or a combination of both.
First pitch is strike. Steve Klein picked up his first win of the season, pitching the final 3rd of the 9th Friday night against Chicago, and that dramatic win for the Cards.
Great game and a great 4-game series.
It's almost like a letdown coming to Philadelphia. Everybody is in agreement that that series was as close to a playoff series as that you're ever going to find in April or May. You see that Abreu is just 2 for 14 against Klein. 1-2. Good slider.
In St. Louis, he struck him out on the fastball. Started him out with a couple fastballs before that last pitch was the slider.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Same pitch. Abreu didn't chase, and now a full count.
So many times you're just dependent on the batter to swing over the top of that pitch. In a good location, but it's not a strike. And when they don't bite after it, you get in a little trouble.
Full count pitch here. Oh, where's that pitch? Where's that pitch?
Apparently it was down.
Now you've got Jim Thome digging in.
Missed with his sinker and kept in a good location, but a better eye by Abreu.
Thome struck out swinging back in the 1st, fly to center, and then a home run. An opposite field home run in the 5th. A lot of family and friends in attendance tonight for Steve Klein. The 1-0. Pat Burrell waiting on deck.
This will be the last batter that Klein faces.
Tavares continuing to get loose in the bullpen.
You can get a ground ball in the infield. You can get out of the inning.
2-1. Jim Thome now with 8 home runs on the season. Pulls it foul. 3 for 6 with a homer against Klein in his career.
So he's been changing things around a little bit as he's been giving up some base hits to lefties on the slider that seem like he's been more intent to throw the sinking fastball or fastball to these 2 big lefties. Just can't stay in one area.
Big lead over there at first by Bobby Abreu. Count of 2 balls and 2 strikes on Tomey. Big at bat here. Ground ball. Womack. Renteria. Double play. Terrific work by Steve Klein. Gets the double play. We head to the 8th. Cardinals hold on. They're up by 1. 5-pitch feature is brought to you by Chevrolet in the 6-5 game, and a key at bat here with Jim Tomey out.
Game within a game. Goes after him with a sinker. Ball is down. Gets him to swing over the top of this one. Now there's sinker, 2-1. Then he gets the ball elevated a little bit. He fouls it off, and finally a slider for the double play.
So we dodge that forward there with Jim Tomey, and we head to the 8th, and this is So Taguchi. So Taguchi will be the pinch hitter for Marlon Anderson with Mike Matheny on deck. So he's hitting .207 on the year.
There's a lot of game left in this one, where a year ago the Cardinals really had struggled in one-run contests. They were 14-25. But the Cardinals have improved their record in one-run games this year to 5-1 with Sunday's victory. Don't know if it's going to stay 6-5 or a one-run game.
Here's Taguchi. First pitch to him. Drills it into left. Burrell on the move. 1 pitch, 1 out. Hard hit, but right at the left fielder, Pat Burrell. Monday, get ready for the next great thing in sports entertainment here on Fox Sports Net. Max Kellerman comes to Fox. You know that he won't pull any punches, and he goes toe-to-toe with the biggest names in sports 5 nights a week. It's the premiere of IMAX, Monday at 6 and 10:30, only on Fox Sports Net. So I'm sure that Taguchi stays in the game for Anderson. Defensive purposes. Taguchi, a fine defensive player. And he'll take over in right. And with 1 out, this is Matheny.
A pair of hits tonight. Average back up to 294. No Woody, not till tomorrow. Chomping at the bit. Can't wait to get in that batter's box.
We'll face off with Kevin Millwood tomorrow. Game right here on Fox Sports Net.
Very, very alert security here.
Applause in the action as a fan has made his way onto the playing surface.
He got 1 foot on the field, and a very alert security guard got him.
And we are not allowed to shoot that. If you're wanting to see that at home, which I'm sure some of you do.
No, you don't.
Security has tied up the gentleman.
Now, the best one I ever saw was in the 70s when they had the streakers. One time at old Jerry Park in Montreal.
Saw one the other day in Houston, too.
I know, but they got a gentleman in Montreal, and then they decided, okay, if you want to streak, we'll take you downtown Montreal and let you go.
Literally in downtown Montreal.
Yep. Said, go ahead. 70s also saw a female streak at Houston.
Sure, you saw plenty of things in the 70s. A ball and 2 strikes. Okay, we're talking about the Mad Hungarian here.
Hey,
come on.
And I can remember some of it, too.
Yeah. You lived to tell about it, and not only that, you remembered some of it. 1-2 on Matheny. That may have caught him, and it did.
Yep.
So he's hit by the pitch. And Reggie Sanders is going to pinch hit for the Cardinals.
Reggie coming in on him and just grazes him. Mike will take that anytime, won't he?
Yeah. So he reaches on that 1-2 pitch with 1 out. Here's Sanders. Coming off the bench this evening, as you mentioned before, Tony La Russa not starting him tonight. Just kind of giving him a little rest as we're in the midst of 13 games straight for the Cardinals. He's played an awful lot early on.
36 years of age. He was only 1 for 15 in the Cubs series. He has been a welcome addition.
Only hitting .167 against left-handed pitching is Reggie Sanders. He went hitless in games on Saturday and Sunday. That was the first time this season he had done that. The span of 44 games if you go back to last season, and did not pick up a hit on Monday afternoon against Chicago. That time is called.
There was some pretty good pitching on both sides in the Chicago series, so not as if you were going up against a easy pitching staff.
Maybe the most impressive of all the Cubs pitchers was the 22-year-old Carlos Zambrano. Really starting to put it together.
Some people think he has the best stuff of the group, and just kind of has to match his mental maturity with the great physical stuff that he has.
Cubs tonight are down 6-0 at home to Arizona. Houston has grabbed a lead over Pittsburgh 2-1 in the 5th. Milwaukee beating Cincinnati 6-0. That's in the 8th. Florida leading Los Angeles 3-2 in the 8th. Montreal over Colorado 10-4 in the 7th. 2-1 the count here on Sanders. Cormier, the third pitcher used by the Phillies tonight. Started with Brett Myers. He went 5 2/3. Roberto Hernandez came on for 2/3 of an inning. Cormier took over after Hernandez injured himself, and Sanders swings and misses. Count even. Tony Womack waiting on deck. Cardinals picked up 2 runs in the 1st, another in the 3rd, 2 more in the 5th, and 1 in the 6th. They have never trailed in this game. They lead it 6-5 behind 10 hits. If you're just joining us, the Phillies got back in the game and tied it up with 3 consecutive home runs. Sanders chases and strikes out. Those 3 home runs were at the bottom of the 5th.
Frenchie really trying to change speeds here. He throws a splitter. Really great location on it. Downward action, but starts it out on the outside part of the plate.
Tony Womack is 1 for 4.
Well, Womack's average against left-handers, 4.55.
5 for 11 coming into the game tonight. Runner at first is Matheny, and Tomey plays behind him a little bit. Third baseman David Bell in on the grass, or rather Tomas Perez in on the grass. A 1 pitch. 0-2. High strike. But that's been consistently called tonight.
Cross-firing. The left-handed batter looks like the ball is going to be delivered behind his back. And kind of going across the body and then hitting the outside part of the plate.
0-2 pitch.
There's a breaking ball there. Doesn't get the call. Just off the plate.
Phillies will have Pat Burrell to lead things off in their half of the 8th. Womack stays alive. Tough play for Rollins. Short hop. Nice play by the shortstop. Bottom of the 8th is coming up. Cardinals leading by a run. Julian Tavares into the ball game for St. Louis. He had his best outing of the year and longest, stranding 2 in the 10th and working through the 11th and 12th last Thursday against these Phillies. His last outing was Friday night against Chicago. And he retired 3 straight in the 8th in that game against Chicago.
I remember when Larry Boa had Tavares' hat checked.
Pat Burrell's bat was checked.
Right, but it seemed like as Taguchi stays in the game to play right field, it seemed like Tavares got a little upset and really showed a little more emotion on the mound. And really pitched well. And you can look at his hat and you can see why Boa wanted to check it and question whether he had pine tar or something out there.
What is that?
Well, that's rosin. That is the white, but as you see on the bill, and he's always kind of like going there, it makes you think that you can put a little pine tar and get a little stickiness and use it to deface the ball and get a little movement from it.
Here's Pat Burrell. He had a monster home run in the ball game tonight, back in the 5th. The 3rd of those 3 consecutive home runs hit by the Phillies. Hit it into the second deck and left. 2-0. And so where a guy like Tavares becomes awfully valuable, does not give up those home runs. And here we have a 1-run Cardinal lead in the 8th. Sinker ball pitcher. Fastball misses up and away. 3-0.
Just make a good hitter, and Pat Burrell is one. Make him out all that more dangerous.
It's the call. 3-1. Fans don't like it.
I understand why.
Yep. Looked like the pitch before. Pat Burrell with 4 home runs and 20 RBIs this season, and hitting .289. The 3-1 pitch. Up and into Burrell. Tying run is walked. And stands at first base.
Albert Pujols and Womack talking to Tavares and getting him pumped up, but not the time to start walking people late in the ball game and a 1-run ball game.
Phillies have a right-hander up and throwing.
Telemaco, I think.
Here is Lieberthal. That's a strike. See if he can't get that ground ball in a double play. A cool night here in Philadelphia. Drilled into deep left field. It is hooking, and it is a foul ball. Just foul. Whoa.
Hanging.
Boy, I say so. He's sitting on a tee.
Tavares only allowed 1 home run last season. One of the reasons why Tony La Russa wanted to acquire him and see how foul it is. Wasn't even close. Loud, long, foul ball. Lieberthal, very good hitting catcher. He had the 3rd best batting average of National League catchers a year ago, and off to a slow start. A couple hits here today.
He has singled his last 2 times up, to left and once to right. Tavares steps off, no balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball. Womack only plays to first. Would have been tough to turn 2 on that, plus with his elbow the way it is, extremely tough. So base hit now could tie it up. Cormier will be pulled back, and we will see a pinch hitter. It looks like Ricky Leday.
And the killer, Ricky Leday.
Ray King has been throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Do you counter with Ray King? You've got Leday and then Jimmy Rollins. And Tony La Russa will counter with Ray King. So Tavares walked the first man that he saw, which was Pat Burrell. Gets the ground ball from Lieberthal. King will come in when we come back with 1 out. 18th is the Bud Light T-shirt night at Busch. The first 25,000 ages 21 and over with a paid admission receive a specially designed T-shirt, compliments of Bud Light. Come on down to the ballpark early Friday, May 14th. The Cards and the Marlins, the world champions, are in town, and it's Bud Light T-shirt night at Busch. So Ray King will take over for St. Louis.
This guy's been pretty active as he's appearing for the 15th time. Not a lot of innings for the 2 left-handers. They're situational guys. And now it's Larry Boa's time as Tony reacts to the pinch hitter, the left-handed pinch hitter Ricky Leday, and Boa counters with Michael.
Jason Michaels off the bench. Had 2 pinch home runs last season. He has 3 in his career. He represents the go-ahead run. The tying run is Pat Burrell standing out there at second base. Ray King has talked about this being his dream. Pitching for the St. Louis Cardinals, was with Milwaukee and then Atlanta. You hear the cheers in the stands as the Flyers have just wrapped up their series with Toronto. And Ray King grew up in the Midwest, and so pitching for St. Louis was something I always wanted to do. Came down to the ballpark a lot in the 80s. With the teams of 82 and 85 and 87. He loved Whitey Herzog and Ozzie Smith. And now here he is wearing the birds on the bat. And in a key spot here against Michaels. First pitch is strike. Six to 5 Cardinals. Tying run at second. We're in the 8th with 1 out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rollins is on deck.
Career .253 pinch hitter. And 0 for 2 in his career against Cardinal pitching.
Right down central. King got off to a slow start, but has started to turn that around. Worked in 80 games for the Braves last season. He and Steve Klein, the 2 left-handers in the Cardinal bullpen. Very durable. King was charged with the run yesterday, his first run that he has allowed in 9 games. The 1-2 pitch, a broken bat. This is Roland. Tough play, and he makes it. See a play like that, you go back to postseason a couple years ago with Arizona. Alex Cintron was the runner at that time and knocked Roland out of the playoffs, and this was a nifty play because Burrell did a good job distracting Roland on this ball.
It's a good pitch. King jammed him, and a slow roller. And as you said, with the Burrell crossing right in front of him as the ball's coming to him. Just got to really concentrate and look it into your glove.
Jimmy Rollins into right center on a high fly ball, and it's Edmonds, and he cuts in front of Taguchi to make the play. Good work by King. Ninth inning is here as well. It's 6-5, top of the ninth. Cardinals with the lead. Amari Telemaco out of the bullpen for the Phillies. Fourth pitcher used by Larry Boa tonight. This will be his 7th appearance. Telemaco, Al, in his career has been a starter before, but the majority of his work has been done out of the bullpen, and this will be his 7th appearance.
They're throwing the ball pretty well. Saw him in St. Louis.
Ray Langford will lead things off for the Cardinals, followed by Pujols and then Edmonds. Langford singled and scored in the first, struck out in the third, reached on an error and scored in the fifth, and walked in the sixth. 6-5 Cards here in the ninth. First pitch to Langford. He's popped up into shallow center. Midwest Sports Report is coming up. Brent Silver.
Must have been for the truck.
It had to be. Pujols rips it towards third. Tomas Perez, 2 outs.
Izzy warming up for the Cardinals, and this appears to be almost a depleted bench, a nearly depleted bullpen. Be a great win if he can close it out in regulation.
Is he getting loose in the bullpen?
Noonan and McKay are the only ones available on the bench, and Lincoln and Pierce after Izzy out there in the pen.
Here's Edmonds with 2 outs. Pair of RBIs tonight for Edmonds. A couple of RBI singles. It's 2 for 4. Good work out of the bullpen tonight for St. Louis. Eldred, Klein, Tavares, and Ray King. Eldred really impressive with an inning and a third, and he struck out 2. Klein goes 2/3 of an inning, gets a double play. Tavares recorded an out. Ray King got 2 outs. Relief of Chris Carpenter lasted 5 innings tonight. 2-1 the count on Edmonds.
Harper would be in line for the victory.
Yep.
Now it all boils down to Izzy. Unless the Cardinals can tack on enough runs where it's not a save situation, they go with someone else, but that does not appear likely.
Philadelphia will have Tomas Perez, their half of the ninth, and then Marlon Byrd and Polanco. Up and into Jimmy. Spins away from that. 3-1. Rolling on deck.
Spin backwards, and so you're not looking at it getting hit in the face.
Full count. Remember, last at bat, it was Edmonds' right shoulder that looked like he may have tweaked it a bit on a couple of swings. Will Scott roll in bat one more time tonight?
I think so.
Edmonds reaches out. Telemaco has got it, a flip, and we head to the bottom of the ninth. Edmonds, a couple of hits and RBIs tonight. He is Ringhausen coming in to close the bottom of the ninth in Philadelphia. The Cardinals trying to hold on. It's 6-5 St. Louis. Cardinals have never trailed in this game, and now it's Jason Isringhausen working the game on Sunday, his second win, as he pitched an inning, allowed just a hit, and that was it. That was his second win, working in the 10th inning on Sunday against Chicago. Suffered his first blown save of the season last Thursday against these Phillies. It was a 2-run home run to Ricky Leday in the ninth that sent the game to extra innings, and then Edmonds would eventually win it with a home run for St. Louis.
It was his first blown save of the year.
Our Bank of America higher standards, Sal. We've talked about the bullpen tonight and how well they have pitched, and in particular guys like King and Klein and Eldred tonight, and Ray King, a very good job. Our Bank of America higher standard.
But you could really see how the Phillies fans not happy with Jimmy Rollins at all. Little tiny guy and trying to hit home runs all the time and hitting them out in center field. They aren't going anyplace.
4 outs, all in the air from Rollins. Izzy, first pitch is a strike. Tomas Perez, part of a double switch a couple innings ago. 0 for 1 tonight. And you've got the top of the order in Marlon Byrd and Placido Polanco. Fouled back. Now, Isringhausen has not been as sharp this season in the first 4 or 5 weeks. Have you seen anything mechanical, confidence-wise, maybe a little bit of both?
Well, it's just more of how he feels. And I felt that prior to the game against Phillies on Thursday when he blew the save, it was just because he wasn't pitching in save opportunities. But that was a tough one for him. You don't want to ever come into a save situation, give up the 2-run home run to tie the game up. But he looks now a save situation. Now he's threw 96 with a fastball, and then he throws a curveball that'll eat up a lot of hitters. You can't look for that 96 and then see that one. A yellow hammer right there. Perfect, right over the top.
You notice our radar gun and our Fox box at the top of your screen is down for tonight. We'll work on that for tomorrow's action. But 96 on the gun here at the ballpark. And now you've got Marlon Byrd. Now that curveball a little bit different than the 1-2 Leday that was a hanger in the game Thursday afternoon at Busch.
He threw a 90-mile-an-hour cutter. Fastball, 92. Falling behind the count.
2-0 pitch. That's a little low and outside. My goodness.
Pretty good pitch right there. Doesn't get the call. That was 94.
That was a strike. Polanco is on deck, and he walked him on 4 straight. Now you've got Polanco.
So much of the pitcher is just his mental outlook.
The play of the game brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, fresh, smooth, real, it's all here. The play of the game is a breaking ball as he got the leadoff man, Tomas Perez, but then since then has walked Marlon Byrd, and now you've got Polanco.
I think we saw the walks, what they did over the weekend to Cubs bullpen.
Tying run at second. You do not have a left-hander available now because you've already used Klein and you've used Ray King. The second hit tonight for Polanco, and in steps Abreu. He's had 2 home runs tonight.
Ball just up right over the middle of the plate. And Polanco, just a good little hitter that doesn't try to do too much, just made contact and found a hole. Dave Duncan out to talk to Izzy. And you talk about the mental state, and looks like a lot of this conversation is with Matheny about pitch selection and what they want to do with Abreu, how they want to attack him.
Bobby Abreu tonight has been on base 3 times. A 2-run home run in the 3rd. A solo home run in the 5th, and that was the first of 3 consecutive home runs by the Phils this evening. In that 5th inning, he walked against Steve Klein, then was erased on the double play. That ended the 7th. He is 1 for 3 against Isringhausen. Much of this crowd, 33,000 plus, is stuck around. We've got Jim Thome waiting on deck.
Now they're going to have their shots, and power against power.
The 1-0 to Abreu. 2-0.
Bobby Abreu can hit it out to all parts of this field, and he's got the count in his favor. Izzy, one thing that he normally has impeccable control for a guy that throws as hard as he does and has the pitches that he has, and everything's a little out of sync for him. He also has allowed 2 home runs, and that's something that took him about 2 years to do.
3-1.
You're not going to scare him. He's going to go right after you. He can handle the situation and the consequences. And if he gets the next strike, they feel a little more confident.
Full count. Big pitch coming up here. Cardinals trying to hold on. They lead it 6-5 in the bottom of the 9th. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Abreu, a 2-home run night. Jim Thome on deck. And a 3-2 from Izzy. He got it. A huge strikeout. Out number 2. And 1 more big out to go.
93 miles an hour, but look at that darting action away from him. Interesting move right here in a 1-run ball game. You can understand why Tony's doing it. Always going with the book and, walk the bases loaded to bring up the matchup with Burrell, righty against righty.
If you do this, it sets up a base hit as a possible winning hit in this game, with the runner now at second and third.
Well, that's probably the only difference is a base hit now would tie it, but a base hit with the bases loaded could win it. But Tony La Russa and his experience and his success allows him to do unconventional things, and he can live with it. So
it's Pat Burrell. With the bases loaded, bottom of the 9th. First pitch to Burrell. Swing and a miss. Some big time heat there from Isringhausen. 95 on the gun here at the ballpark.
Pat Burrell's the kind of guy that's got power, but he's got a slider bat speed.
Base hit at least ties it. Could win it for the Phillies. One and 2.
So far, nothing but gas.
The 1-2 pitch to Pat Burrell.
Trying to overthrow the ball. 2-2, 2 outs.
Out of play.
Seen some drama, haven't we?
Oof. Did you agree with the move?
Yes, because Tomey has owned the Cardinals, and Izzy can strike out Burrow. He just needs to get him out.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Pat Burrow with the game on the line. Ooh, good cut, and he was right on that pitch. Keep seeing fastballs, and you think about him starting to time it and catch up a little bit.
Well, that's what Sky Report is. They feel they could throw the fastball by him, but as you say, the longer you stay up there, the more chance he has to maybe give himself up. He's calling time. You know, with this sequence, he threw him a cutter, and he's got to start his bat a little early to get things going. But you would hate to lose a game on the secondary pitch.
Here it comes.
Now remember too, every time in this situation, even if you're throwing all fastballs, you got to have that loose wrist. You can't try and overthrow it, because when you do that, you lose movement and velocity.
He strikes out, the ball gets away. Throw to first. They got him, and the Cardinals win it.
Unbelievable. No panic by Mike Matheny
What
at
a
all.
play.
And a great stretch by Pujols.
What a game. What a finish.
That is a new way to end the game.
The Gold Glover couldn't hold on behind the plate, but had the presence of mind to get it. And Burrow didn't realize the ball got away initially, and that may have cost him on that final step.
Look at Pujols stretching out there. Wow.
So the Cardinals hold on, and they take game 1. Woo. What a game. All smiles for the Cardinals. For Al Hrabosky and our Bud Sports crew, I'm Dan McLaughlin. 6-5. The Cardinals win it. We're back at it tomorrow at 5:30. Let's send it to the Midwest Sports